Okay, let us start the class. Today is 7th December 2025. So, as I have promised that the classes are being conducted thrice a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in Zoom classroom under my Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation. So, I have shared the link which is related with the Zoom link to attend the classes. That is a permanent link. I have shared that link in all social media platforms, WhatsApp groups. So you can save that link and you can join to my classes on special days, thrice of a week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply at 8 p.m. in June. Okay. So as I have promised that the classes will be conducted until my last breath of life to enhance the programming skills in the students who are living in rural areas and hilly areas and remote areas. Okay. And that platform, Lakshmi Narayan Krishna Foundation, it was started in 2023, 14 January. This is the third year. Okay. So almost third year going to be successfully completed. So let us start the class. So JavaScript. Before that also I have started classes for Python, Java, 85% I have completed. C and C++ also I have conducted the classes. Uh, from the front end programming, HTML, some other classes I have conducted. Now I am keeping focus over JavaScript. So like that, until my last breath of life, I need to give a lot of focus over programming skills. Okay. So you can watch all my pre-recorded videos in my channel. Okay. So let us come to the class. JavaScript while loops. In the previous class, I have briefed that about the for loop. Okay. I told you that loops are mostly used to run a specific code, a block of code. To run means execute a block of code until a condition is satisfied. So loops mostly will be used to execute a block of code, okay, many times until a condition is satisfied. Before that, we have discussed about the for loop. Here, while loop. So while loop, it executes a block of code as long as a condition is true. Okay. There are two types of while loops, the while loop, do while loop in JavaScript. So let us try to understand while loop. So this is the syntax of the while loop. Initially, we need to write the while keyword, and within the parenthesis, we need to keep a condition. Okay, that is the main condition. So if that condition is satisfied, the loop rotates. Loop iterates through the list items, array, whatever. Okay. So inside of this, we need to write the code. So this is the syntax. So let us see what happened. Here, what happened? This is the keyword while. So inside of the bracket, I told you that this is the condition. Here, I is a variable. So that I value until less than 10, the loop rotates again and again. Okay. So which code, the block of code, this is the code, single sentence. A block of code means, I told you that many times, block of code means 10 lines of code, 5 lines of code, 6 lines, even the one line of code is also called a block of code. Here, under the while loop, this line of code will be executed again and again, many times. So until this condition is satisfied, until if I is equal 10, so 10 less than 10, the condition is violated. 10 less than 10, so condition not satisfied. 10 is equal to 10, that is okay, but 10 less than 10, so that condition is not satisfied. So whenever I is equal to 9, so up to that condition, this line of code will be executed. This block of code will be executed. So if I is equal to 0, so that number I is equal to 0, so that 0 will be displayed when I is equal to 1. So 1 is less than 10. So after 0, 1 will be displayed. And when I is equal to 2, because incrementation is here. Every time every time the loop iterates through, okay, these numbers. So when one the line of code is executed, that moment I will be incremented, and again the condition will be checked. Then if the condition I value it is less than 10, so this line of code will be executed like that many times. So let us see this code. This is the result. Okay, the number, we will get the numbers like this up to 9 only, because I is equal to 10. Whenever I 10, so I 10 less than 10. So condition violated and loop terminates. This is the code. So this code, the while loop that is written inside of the script. So I told you that script, under the script tag, JavaScript code will be written. Okay. So here one variable created, text variable with the let keyword, and it is empty. So that index, the condition for this condition, I is the I value set up to 0. Okay. So this is the line of code that is to be executed many times until the condition is satisfied. Here, every time the number will be stored in this empty variable text, and that will be the number of, okay, whatever the number will be stored in this empty variable text. It is a variable created without assigning any value. It is empty. So whenever one uh, iteration is there, start at the starting iteration, I is equal to 0, that I means 0 less than 10. So set condition okay. So that 0 will be stored in this empty variable. And that is equal to the number is the text. This is the string will be displayed plus I will be added. I is equal to 0. So when I is incremented, I is equal to 0 means it is incremented 0 plus 1, 1. Now condition checked, I means 1 less than 10. So condition satisfied, that number will be displayed. Because of this line of code will be executed. So here, this is the string, and the string will be concatenated with the I value. Okay, like that. So to get the display, to get this type of display on the screen, get element by ID method, that is the mostly used HTML method. Okay. So, and this is the ID attribute created in paragraph section, paragraph element start tag. So that ID attribute is assigned with a value demo, and that is we need to pass in this get element by ID method. Okay. So now let us try to write the total code from the starting, and I want to delete this total code here. Okay. So here there is no any code. This is the result window. This is the code window. We need to start the code. As I told you that this is the HTML document. So doc type we need to write, and this is the HTML web page. So then write with HTML start tag and end with HTML close end tag. Okay. And inside of the body section, body element to be started with body, because inside of the body, whatever the content, whatever the code we write, that will be executed. A body element to be closed with the close end tag. Now inside of this, whatever the code we will write, that will be read by your browser. Then after, any header you want to keep, header is not case sensitive. Whatever the content here, while loop. Okay, whatever the content you write here, that will be displayed on the web page. Okay, if you run this code, while loop. Okay, so then after If one more thing, any you want to write any as a header, subheader, whatever, while loop executed, executed what? Executed, while loop executed many times. Okay, many times until a condition is satisfied. Until a condition satisfied. Okay, or close with the end tag. Okay, now run this. So this is one more. Here, what is the main intention? What is the main role of while loop? While loop executed many times until a condition is satisfied. Now come down. I told you that inside of the script, JavaScript code will be kept inside of the script start tag and script end tag. Okay. Now this is called one element. Okay. Script start tag, script end tag. It is called an element, script element. So inside of this, we need to create the while loop. So I told you that while loop must be, it is to be started with while keyword, and inside a bracket, a condition to be written I less than, okay, if you want to display how many numbers, some numbers from 0 to 9. So if I is equal 10, so 10 less than 10. So condition is not satisfied up to 9. When I is equal 9, 9 is less than 10. So up to 9 numbers will be displayed. Okay, next, inside of this while loop, the line of code which is to be executed, again and again. That line of code we need to write here. So first of all, I need to create a variable. Okay. That variable, whether it is empty variable, yeah. Why? Because initially it is not having any values. So in JavaScript, every variable it is to be created with constant keyword, otherwise let keyword. So by let keyword, I have created a variable and it is not assigned with any value. So we can simply say that it is a empty variable. So whenever I reads that number, that will be stored in this variable. So if I want to get display, of that, I need to use that method. What method? I told you that is what get element by ID method. By ID method, get element by ID method. So here I told you that one ID attribute we need to use here. So that attribute where I need to write here inside of this paragraph section. Okay, paragraph element. This is the paragraph element and paragraph element to be closed. Now one element we have created with start tag and end tag. Inside of this start tag of paragraph element, ID that is to be assigned with a value. So now one ID attribute assigned with a value, that value we need to pass in this method. That is what was. Okay, any value, whatever the value you have assigned, to ID attribute, that value to be passed to this get element by ID method. This is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to display the content, to find out the HTML element. And if you want to display, we need to use inner HTML attribute, and it is to be assigned for that what HTML element. What is our HTML element? This is our HTML element, which is having all that numbers. Okay, whatever the numbers, every time loop check the I status. If I value is less than 10, that number that is to be displayed. So here we need to write the code like this. Text is equal to, okay, string the number, this type string, it is to be displayed on the screen, and it is to be concatenation with what? I. Okay. So what happened here? Try to understand. Every time this string will be displayed on the screen, and this string will be concatenated, means added with the I. Initially, whatever the I value is there, that will be displayed on the screen like the number is 0, the number is 1, the number is 2, like that, until the condition is satisfied. So here see what happened. One variable created, it is very empty variable. It is not assigned with any value. Whenever this while loop uh, executes this line of code, and whenever the condition is true, so that number will be stored in this empty list, okay, and that empty list is passed to this inner HTML attribute. So this is what this method is part of your web page. Web page is your document, web document. So we need to mention that this method is part of web document, means web page. So because of I have mentioned here, this is the HTML web document, otherwise web page. So this method is part of this web page. Web page is called as a document, document.getElementById by ID method. I have passed that ID attribute, which is passed in this P. P is what? Your paragraph element, start tag. Okay. So inside of this, whatever the attribute I have, value I have passed for that attribute, that is passed here for inner HTML. This inner HTML attribute is mostly used for this HTML method, getElementById method, to display the HTML content. That content is stored in this variable. HTML content stored. Why HTML content? Means the content which will be displayed on your screen, web page. That is called a web content. So now let us see, if this code is not executed, means nothing is displayed on the screen. Don't worry, that's simply there may be little bit of syntax errors, like what this type of what termination of this one, whether it is compulsory here. If it is not compulsory, you remove that. Simple. Okay, let us run this code. We are not getting anything. So I think no need this one. Okay, you run this code, but still we are not getting. So little bit of what we need to check back, that any any simple syntax errors are there. So find out that syntax errors, and then after your numbers will be displayed on the screen. So this is okay, this is okay. Okay, and script started, and script while loop started, while, okay, inside of this is the condition. Then in flower brackets, the code, the block of code to be executed, it was written inside of this while loop. So while loop terminated, document dot get element by ID method. This is the mostly used JavaScript HTML method to find out the HTML content. Not, it is only to find out the HTML content. And inner.html attribute will be used to display the HTML content, which is the part of your HTML element. So now let us see script that is closed, element is closed, body closed, HTML document closed. Now we are not getting anything. So we need to check back the syntax. Okay, syntax error. If any syntax error is there, so let us see what the mistake we have done here. So I initially the I value to be set up to G any value. It is up to you which type of approval let. I value that is to be set up for one initial value. We need to set up that I value so that the loop starts from here. Okay. So if you will not mention the I value, if you will not set up any value to this I indexing variable, so the loop it will be in confusion that from where it needs to start. Okay. So I have mentioned initial value for 0. Now next is what here incrementation that is equal to I plus plus. We have not mentioned here. So I plus plus means what? That I that is to be every iteration. For every iteration, I to be incremented. Okay. Otherwise, here only number 9 displayed here. Only number 9 displayed here. So every time if I give this type of symbol, so all the numbers I am getting here. But problem is what you know. So see here what if I have not given this plus here, I am getting only the number 9. So if I have given plus here, so all the numbers, number 0, number 1, number 2, but all are in side by side. That moment, what I need to give one break here, line break. That is very important. Huh? Line break. Why the line break? So if I am getting all that, okay, that line break that is to be given. Line break that is to be given. That line break plus I plus, oh, that is what you know here, not here. Here I need to give this symbol. I need to give inside of this. This is the line break. Okay. Now see, but I'm getting all the numbers, number 0, the number 0, number 1, number up until 9 only. So what happens here? Try to understand little bit of this text is empty. This variable text, it can be any name with XYZ. It doesn't mean yourself. Okay, XYZ variable name, any XYZ name, and same variable name we will um call that variable in the while loop. Okay, because all that numbers will be stored in this empty variable, and when we call that variable and plus y, because every time it is to be added, na, every time it is to be added, simply if you keep is equal to means the first number will be added, first number will be stored, the first number will be stored. Text is equal to what? That number. Whenever I is equal to, okay, whatever. And if I keep the plus here, it means what? Every time it will add. It will add to that text variable. That's why. Initially the number, and next whatever the while loop iterates, it goes through a number and that number will be added. Okay, every time added to the this variable, and we are calling that variable text. And then this is what same text variable I have passed here. If you will not pass this text variable, this inner HTML, it is used to display the content. This method get element by ID method and its one attribute inner HTML, these two will be used to display the content. But this attribute value, which is declared inside of this paragraph section, very compulsory. If you will not pass this, okay, value, nothing you will get here. See, nothing is there because that HTML content, this is the HTML content, this variable is the HTML content which will be holding these numbers. So without that id value, whatever the id you have passed id value for this attribute, that is to be mentioned in this get element by id as a parameter, as a variable. Okay, without that you don't expect that you will get the result. Okay, you are getting. So next what I want to say one thing, whether you want to change this variable, this value can be anything, it is up to you. But don't keep. If you keep as it is, you need to mention that. If you give space, so you will not get anything, because here one space you have given, the same space you need to give here. Okay, now you will get all the numbers. So whatever the value you have passed for this id attribute, if you have given one space here, as it is you need to pass for this get element by id method. And one more thing, this value can be anything, I told you that, and it must be written inside of this paragraph element start tag, not in between here. If you write here, that will become a content. See what happens, see here. And see if you, okay, now what happened, it turns into white color, means it is a content, it will display on the screen, it will display on the screen. And don't try to write inside of this paragraph element start tag end tag. So always you need to keep this here, where inside of this paragraph element start tag. Okay, now next, what, every time variable that is to be created with the let keyword, otherwise constant keyword. Once you have created any variable with constant keyword, that its value can't be changed. Constant, that is constant means fixed. Okay, so let means further its value can be changed. And this variable I one variable we need to create. Why I? Because you have written here, if you have written with x, you need to, if you have created any variable inside of this while loop x, you need to mention this as x. Okay, why? Because that value, that you are not getting, so we need to change that, where y, this is x is equal to 0, x less than text. Okay, why? Because see, why you are not getting anything, because you have declared the variable as x and you have set up that x initial value 0, but you are not getting anything. Why? Because this here you need to, you need to change this as also x, and then you will get only, you are not getting. So next is you need to increment x plus plus, you are getting all the things. So whatever the changement you have done here, you need to update all that variable. If you have taken as x, okay, and x to be set up to 0 here in this, get the number, this string to be concatenated with x. And then for the incrementation also, here also you need to change like that. Okay, so like that, document dot get element by id, this is the predefined method. So like as it is, you need to represent. If you keep any small letter get element, so you will not get anything here. Okay, because this is the predefined method, for that you need to write get element by id method. So as it is, this method is predefined method, so you need to mention that. Okay, so little bit of this text why I have passed here. This is the HTML content. This variable is holding that all these numbers. So that's why inside of this inner HTML attribute, which is part of your get element by ID method, for the display of these all numbers, this method mostly used in JavaScript. Okay, and it has an attribute inner HTML. It is to be passed with that variable which is holding all that values. Initially, it is created as empty variable. Every time this while loop iterates through the numbers, it iterates through the numbers, and that will be displayed. Okay, so this is the class today. So have have a nice day. Today I have briefed in this class how to write the code for while loop in JavaScript. In the previous class I have briefed for the for loop. Okay, so anybody can attend my classes. Okay, the classes will be conducted every week, every week until last breath of life. Okay, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, sharply in Zoom link. Okay, in 3 days of a week. So all of you can, anybody can attend and update their programming skills. Okay. So if you can watch my videos, pre-recorded videos in my YouTube channel. That YouTube channel link also shared to so many. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Jai Hind. Have a nice day.